start, right? Christine, you're good. Christine, everything is good on your side. Any
Yes,
feedback
Ash.
on your side? Okay. Let's get started. And as you know, Sumanth, what we do is I'm going up an elevator. I'm hitting the top. As I hit the top, I'm going to zoom right back down, and I'll introduce myself. And would love to get your elevator pitch, sir. All right.
Sounds good.
Okay. Hi, Sumanth. My name is Ash Singh. I am, a quant investor looking at the next big thing in the space. Tell us a little bit about what you're working on and how I can help you.
Sure. Hello, Ash. Nice to meet you. My name is Sumanth Vakada, and I'm the founder and CEO of Qualetics Data Machines.
Mm-hmm.
If you know, in the coming future, if you can take two things for granted, one would be software, because software is going to eat the world at some point. Everybody's using software to build products and improve their business. And the second thing that's going to be part of this software journey is going to be AI or intelligence. More and more people, more and more businesses are looking to use AI to create their products, improve their customer service, or add to their bottom line. However, the challenge of using AI is manifold. Building software itself is complicated and complex and is error prone. Businesses spend up to $1.7 trillion a year in dealing with software issues. And when you add more complexity to that of building intelligent applications using AI, that complexity increases in challenges. So, however, the competition is not going to die down. People are looking to build better products, build better products powered by AI. However, the technology is also out of reach of hands for many businesses due to the complexity of implementation, the time taken to build it.
Okay.
So businesses are now spending more time trying to build AI solutions rather than use AI to improve their product. And that is where Qualetics comes into the picture. We have developed a software platform that enables creators, software makers, and businesses to build data-driven and AI-powered software applications that can help them improve their customer service, help them grow their business, and also contribute to the growing ecosystem of AI-driven intelligence that can help the artificial general intelligence ecosystem very well. But the goal is here to help businesses, help small businesses and medium businesses to get to the market faster, validate their ideas faster, and grow their revenues faster. Because if they don't, somebody else is going to do that. And we want to enable those types of companies to get there as early as can. So the idea is build your product and not a technology platform. Ultimately, the product is what's going to get you to your end goal.
Got it. Now, thank you for that. And where do you need help, sir?
So we have been working on this platform for the last 2.5 to 3 years, and we have already built a product. It is live. It is being used by paying customers today. We are at a point where we want to scale this up. We want to scale this up to reach a wider audience. We want to make this available to more businesses that can use our platform. And for that, we need to work on our technology more. We have a long list of features that we want to add. Some of those have directly come as feedback from our customers, and some of those that are part of the roadmap as something that we envision being widely in use as the platform grows. And so we would like to bring in technologists that can come and contribute to the platform. We want to bring in great operators that can come and help our customers and help get our message across, so that the adoption is going through seamlessly.
Got it.
So that's where we need help. We have already proven the product works. We've already taken it to customers. Customers are using it, and we're getting great feedback. What we need to do now is to take it to the next level, and we need support in doing that.
Got it. Okay. Is there a specific capital requirement? Just tell me a little bit about that.
Right now, we are looking at raising up to $1 million. We haven't raised any outside funding so far. We've raised a friends and family round, and we've been operating as a bootstrap company for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So right now, we believe that we'd be we'd be using the funds that we raised through the seed round for this next level of expansion. And from that point on, we would take one step at a time.
Got it. Excellent. Thank you for your pitch.
Thank you.
Let's try to dissect this, right? Let's try to dissect a little bit about the pitch. And as I've mentioned before, part of this journey is to allow the founders to understand exactly what an investor might be thinking. And in addition to that, the one is about the questions they're thinking. Secondly, about kind of how I would position this, right, based on the current market, right? And that's kind of how we said. And then if you'd like, I'm happy to even pitch your idea back for your entertainment. When I think about this, Sumanth, I want to come back to the secret sauce of the business, right? The secret sauce. I want to understand a little bit more about, because when we think about AI and processes, you mentioned a number of like $1.7 trillion, which is a big number. I kind of wanted, when we think about the elevator pitch, it's exactly what the business actually does, right? So, which subset of this group is really finding value in your processes? And how do you allow, with your secret sauce, how do you allow that improvement to take shape, right? And part of this is there's a lot of people that are looking to implement artificial intelligence, but they either take too long, they run out of budget, they don't set it up properly. This is obviously a known issue, right? And I think the winners of this are the people that have figured out the right process methodology for companies to your workflow and your thought process to make sure that they've thought things out, things are planned properly, and they have the right team and execution to make sure that they do in fact build the right system that gives them the actionable insights, right? Which is what AI should be doing. So tell me a little bit more about that, because I felt like there was a bit of the meat that I was still looking for.
Got it. Okay, sure. So one of the numbers that I think I didn't get to was, and you referred to it. You referred to the point that implementing AI is hard. It is hard. Yes. If you look at the most recent statistics on how many businesses have successfully implemented AI, that would be somewhat in the low 20s to the low 30s % of businesses. A couple of years ago, it was pretty low. Less than 10% of businesses have been able to implement AI successfully, and that number has been growing a little bit. But right now, 70 to 80% of AI initiatives or AI implementations either take too long, get delayed, or fail altogether. And the reason for that is because businesses spend a lot of time trying to build that AI ecosystem or a data analytics platform that then eventually evolves into an AI platform themselves. They try to build this themselves using a available set of technologies out in the market. This is very similar to saying that if you want to use accounting for your business, you have to build out all of the accounting processes yourself. You develop your own accounting software. Sure. People don't do that. You just go and use accounting software, like Nebula, for example. Yeah. Right? So the AI is very similar to that. The businesses are spending more time, most often unsuccessfully, in trying to develop their own AI platform. And those kind of initiatives go nowhere. I've been directly involved with many businesses like that. I've consulted with businesses that go through this process, eventually to give up. And that is where our platform solves that piece of the puzzle, because at the end of the day, you don't need to build your own AI platform. You can just use an existing one.
Yeah.
And that's where we come in, because building an AI platform, it's not just the factor of time that goes into building it. Once you build it, the platform is just one part of it. What essentially becomes useful for your product are those use cases, are those insights that get trained on your data and then improve your product. Now, as you know, data is constantly changing and the use cases are constantly changing. You see new trends and new patterns. When you see a new trend or a new pattern, you need to go back and improve your AI model to adapt to that new changing trend. And then that's when businesses fail, because that's when when they go back to change it, they find that whatever they've built is so tightly coupled, is so monolithic in its structure that it's hard to change. Changing that is almost equivalent to just doing it all over again. And that's the point where businesses fail. So you need a platform, you need a system that can make it easy for you, where you can just go, as you see a new trend, okay, you go back and leverage what's already there, and you feed in this new data, get the new insight, and then use that to improve your product. And that kind of machinery is not going to be the daily task on the daily task list of software teams. Because they're going to be building their own products. Going back and tweaking the AI platform that you built constantly to improve your model or improve your outcome or improve your insight is going to become an alternative parallel challenge that you have to constantly solve if you want to build your AI. And that's where Qualetics comes in, because that's our full-time job. That's our full-time focus. We have developed this platform so that it is continuously learning on your data and coming up with insights that are relevant to you, so that you just use the insight. You don't have to build the insight. You don't have to spend the time building the insight, but you just use the insight and spend your time building your product based on that insight.
And Sumanth, tell me a little bit about, for those of people that are relatively new to this space, tell me a little bit about the ecosystem, right? Because you guys have built your own platform. Which market does this cater to, and tell me a little bit more about that, because you have all the big players also with their own kind of analytics platforms out there. So the natural question in my mind is, which segment do you exist in, and how are you guys different from the existing platforms?
I would say that the existing platform, the big platforms that are out there in the market, they're building these kind of technology layers, and there are some new entrants into the market, but the majority of the players in the market are building this platform so that you can develop your own models yourself. So they're putting that amount of work, that effort in the hands of the product makers. And that's where we solve the problem, because even for let's take a small to medium business. Let's say there's got 50 employees, and 10 of those employees are the IT team members. When you have a 50 employee company, it means that it's fairly successful, and it's got a good amount of activity going on in the business where they are constantly busy. Now, that small team should be focused on building a product or maintaining a product. Sure. When you put the burden of developing an AI platform on them, it's going to fail. It's going to impact the product development as well as the initiative of AI development. So we try to simplify that.
So again, I want to come back because I want to get exact clarity on this. I think this is important from an investor standpoint. I want to dig into, because you don't want to fall into the consulting kind of element too, right? So I want to understand a little bit about how who would be that ideal customer that would come on board, right? And how do you remove the element of you just becoming a consulting company, right? How have you built your system so that they can, I'm using the Amazon stack or the Google stack or the Microsoft stack or the IBM stack, whatever tools that I'm using to kind of go about my business. I'm trying to get clarity on this, and I really want to figure out how do we position this right, where they can come and plug in the Qualetics platform and their team can be empowered enough to start building and getting their processes right. There might be an onboarding component, but I'm trying to understand that a little bit more. Can you shed some light on that?
Sure. So going back to that example that I was giving, like where you take a small team, for example, where they now see a need for using data analytics and AI in their product.
Yeah.
Now, there are two options there. One is build your own platform and do it yourself, or use Qualetics. And with the difference being here is that you plug into Qualetics, you have two endpoints to connect. One endpoint is to stream the data. The other endpoint is to get the insight that the data provides. And getting the insight from the data is not a complex process. Basically, you get to choose from a suite of or a library of insights that are already pre-created for you.
Yes.
So, for example, if you have a SaaS product that depends on a subscription-based revenue or a steady stream of customers, we have a churn prediction model that can allow you to understand your customer behavior, your customer usage patterns, and then it'll allow you to predict churn for your customers. We have sentiment analysis model that allows you to feed in a stream of text, and then it comes back to you with saying that, okay, this is the sentiment that this text is conveying. We have a text summarization model where you can feed in a long passage of text, and then it comes back with a summary of the text and also the topics of discussion in that. All of these ways are things that are built on your data, so that then you can use those insights to then create your product. You don't have to worry about what goes inside a sentiment analysis model. You're just feeding the data and you're using it on the other end.
So Sumanth, I would pitch your idea a little bit differently then, right?
Sure.
Because I think it's taken us a little bit of time to pull this out, but I feel like you have your pre-built AI-powered algorithms, right? These are it's like a black box, right? Exactly. What happens is that when I think about it, it's about you guys building the right tools and elements. It's very interesting for me. I look at it, and again, it's just the way I see the world. Just because I probably don't have the same level of AI and machine learning intelligence, but from a very basic level, what happens is in the world today, we are all really comfortable in plugging in our data to different sources. We use products like Zapier, right? Products like Power Automate, right? Every product has API, right? And so, if we're running, for instance, a SaaS business, right? What you're saying is that it makes more sense, instead of you rebuilding the AI models and trying to build the dashboards and getting the insights and doing all that stuff. What we've done is we've looked at industry verticals, for instance, SaaS. And we know that to run a successful SaaS business, it comes down to lowering your cost of acquisition, increasing your lifetime value, and getting actionable insights to empower that. All you really need to do is API your data into our product, and we give you the dashboard. We also give you the insights, and suddenly you are AI enabled, right? Just like back in the day when you needed a website, okay, you needed a domain, you'd go to GoDaddy. When you needed email, you would just add, Google email or whatever email, right? And what you guys are doing basically is saying, we are just a protocol, an AI protocol service, essentially, correct?
We are basically a headless AI service.
Yeah, but do you get what I'm saying? It's just a protocol. It's like, listen, just plug into us, right? You need email, you go here. You need chatbot services, you need here. But the big problem around it right now is that hiring a data scientist is a very expensive endeavor, actually. When you think about your problem statement is correct, but there's two elements to it. It's not just the existing team of developers are not data scientists. There's a difference. Programming and developing, which is something I kind of know how to do, right? It's very different than being a data scientist. It's not the same, right? Understanding data and all these other components. And so what you're basically doing is you are just creating a simplified plugin feature. So different industries like SaaS, like e-commerce, like they can just plug in insights are given, right? You are now powered by AI, right? And you don't have to pay for a data scientist. You don't have to figure out how to, you just take the regular data that most people are using, right? If you're built a SaaS platform, you're powered by one of 10 tools, correct? Right? And you just need to get the customer information, the data, and all that stuff, and you can start driving sentiment, right? And so what happens is that from a user perspective, if only 20% to 30% of companies are using AI, what you're saying is that the rest of the people, which are the slow adopters, the smaller players, you're enabling them, and they just have to plug in, and they don't have to pay for a data scientist, and they can start getting insights on day one. Is that correct?
That's right. And a slight correction: the 20% to 30% are not just using AI; they are the ones that have successfully applied AI.
Yeah.
Pretty much almost 100% of businesses are trying to use AI, but out of that, only 20% are successful. We have a large chunk of them not being successful at that.
And they're successful because they've got a really smart team, or they've hired a data analyst or a data scientist, and stuff is working, correct?
Or they have invested heavily into that. So it's they've invested time, effort, and resources into making it successful.
Yes. And so, Sumanth, that's the question around this, right? Like, when I think about this, there's people that can write their own APIs. And so Zapier, a product like Zapier, is not needed, right? If you actually know how to communicate API to API, you don't need a product like Zapier, right? Exactly. But Zapier exists, and it's $1 billion company, right? And so I always try to reference and kind of make it as simple and, like, assume the guy doesn't understand stuff. You think about the 70% of companies that are not effectively using AI, right? The idea is that they probably won't succeed either, right? That's the other thing, right? If you've tried something a couple of times, and so I think it's interesting to think about it from that perspective, just as a protocol, right? We're just going to be that situation, and we're going to be the source of data. The other thing around this, Sumanth, is that when we think about information and data, right, there are tools out there that can provide some insights, right? Think about Google Data Studio and some of these other platforms, but there's a bit of a conflict of interest, right? Because if you're getting your data, you're buying ads from Google, and you're also asking Google for reporting. There's a conflict of interest. Do you know what I mean? You can't trust. Do you know what I mean? You can't, so the idea of being an independent around data, I think, matters as well, right? And this is the reason why you need to exist, right? From that standpoint. And tell me a little bit about, once somebody plugs in, what's the LTV for your business? Because you didn't talk about that, right? If somebody uses your platform, how long are they going to stick around for?
Our platform is meant for a long-term usage, but that doesn't mean that the customer is stuck to us permanently. Because one of the things, the point about data, Google Data Studio, is important because one of the things that we focus on heavily is data privacy and data security. So every customer of ours, when they sign up with us, they get their own provisioned data storage. So they can use our platform for as long as they want, or until they get to a point where they are capable enough to have their own dedicated data science team that can build and manage their entire AI needs. So for example, take a small business that signs up with us. Over the next 2 to 3 years, or the next 5 years, they grow to become a $100 million company. At that point, they probably can still use us because we can still support them. But at that point, they may think that, okay, it's time for us to move into our own stack, and that's probably when they would move into that. But until then, we are there to support them through their growth journey. So one of the ideas is that we want to provide that time to market advantage. So if you're a new business, or if you're a company that's looking to improve your product with AI, and you spend this next 6 to 8 months trying to develop that platform or perfect that platform, you've already you wasted that time instead of focusing on product launch. So what we do is, like, instead of like the next 6 to 8 months or 6 to 9 months working on the AI platform, you can get to the market in the next 6 weeks.
Okay.
And that allows you to get that time to market advantage.
Interesting. So Sumanth, tell me how do you charge for this? Like, if I'm a SaaS platform and I want to use your product, how do you make money? How do you charge? Like, I want to plug in, I'm a small business and I need your help. How much do you charge?
We charge on a subscription-based model. So, and then that's primarily driven by the volume of data that you feed into the platform. So there's we have a pricing advertised on a site, and we primarily right now are focusing on the lower tiers, but we have custom engagements also where we look at like what kind of data they're streaming us, and then we give them a monthly subscription price. But at the end of the day, what we want to say is that even if we go with the highest possible capacity of data that you're streaming us, it will not cost you more than what it would cost you to hire a single data scientist. So for the cost of hiring, or for less than the cost of hiring a single data scientist, you get the benefit of an entire AI platform.
Sure.
That's
but Sumanth, I mean, and again, I'm just thinking about 2022 and where the world is at. What if you were to charge like a pay per insight? You know what I mean?
That is there also. That is also there. But I mean, the thing is, there is a base level of subscription fee that is present. For example, our enterprise plan for right now, we charge $500 for, I believe it's like 3 million data points per month. So that's, if somebody sees that kind of volume happening, then yeah, that is a base amount of subscription fees that they would have to pay us. But then on top of that, if it is, for example, if it's an e-learning company, then there are a certain set of insights that are only applicable to an e-learning company. So we offer that as an add-on. If it's a healthcare company, then there's a different group of insights, and we give that as an add-on. So it's 500 plus whatever that additional add-on is.
You get what I'm saying? Like, when I think about it, like, if you're going to drive and improve lower churn, right, by 30%, I just think that just on a business that's generating a couple $1 million a year, I think that's a very interesting pricing model too. That's all. I'm just curious about, because if your product works as promised, which I'm sure it does, the idea of getting a base subscription just to make sure they take it seriously, I get that, right? But being in a position where suppose you provide an insight that transforms the business and brings $3 million onto the table, right? Is there a way to kind of look at that and see if there's a way to move and maneuver, right, to kind of drive real value? That's all, right? Like, figuring out where that works, because I think ultimately that's probably where the future is going to be, right? There are going to be companies that just kind of know the systems, have everything there, and they kind of move into this pay per insight model, right? And it's easier for me to talk about it. I'm sure it's much harder to actually implement it. So I do want to acknowledge that. But now,
actually, it's not. It's a very, very good point that you raised. That model is already on our minds, so to speak, because it does take a little bit of effort to implement it, but it's not complex from an implementation point of view. And it's going to be, that's one of the things that we hopefully will launch in 2023, where we'll have a marketplace for people to just come to our website and sign up for an insight and just pay a fee for that insight. Again, it's based on the volume, the usage, and also the speciality of that particular insight. For example, the churn predictor will be priced higher compared to a sentiment analysis model, because it's a more basic one. So
because the intelligence of your algorithm, it's kind of like paying a commission to use the service type thing. Does that make sense? Right? And that's kind of the thought process I have, right? Just food for thought. So what I'm going to do, Sumanth, would you like me to pitch this back to you, by the way?
Yes, please.
Right. You're looking for $1 million, right? In terms of the next steps, right?
Yes.
AI, intelligence. Okay. All right. And I'm gonna flip the switch, if I may, right? One quick question. Using your service, how much cheaper is it versus hiring a data scientist again? Is it 1/10 the price, 1/5 the price, 1/3 the price? I'm thinking about United States, by the way.
I would say when you look at the end-to-end process of getting to the final goal, we've done some calculations and we see that we've saved up to 60% of the costs when it comes to implementing this kind of using a platform and getting to the final goal.
And like Amazon, that's probably going to continue to drop, right, as you get scale, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Right. Got it. All right. Let me try to flip the switch. Okay, I'm going to try to be as concise as possible as well. Okay, I'm going to try and keep it in a minute, Christine. And we'll go for that. Now you have to, Sumanth, you have to introduce yourself. Okay. And we're going to go from there. Go ahead. Over to you, sir.
Hello, Ash. I'm Sumanth Vakada from Vakada Ventures. Okay. And I'm interested to know what you're doing at Qualetics.
Excellent. Thank you very much. My name is Ash Singh. I'm part of the Qualetics team. As you might know, software is taking over the world. AI is taking over the world, and companies now recognize that AI is not just a competitive advantage, it is a definitive need, right? You can't survive without it. What we've also discovered, though, is that 70% of companies that have tried to implement AI just haven't been able to do it in-house, right? That could relate to the skill set, not being able to find a data scientist, just not being able to kind of get it off the ground. And so what we decided to do was, just like Zapier has been able to create $1 billion company around connecting the world's data, what we are aiming to do is we've created some of the best AI algorithms. And what we're allowing companies to do is just plug into our system, and we have this AI in a box that allows them to plug in and almost immediately start to derive actionable insights that enable them to be AI powered. We are looking forward to, we've got this off the ground. We've tested in various industries. For instance, a SaaS company that's looking to drive and lower churn, we've been able to implement this and get them their insights within a couple of weeks at less than 50% of the price. We feel as we scale, our cost structure is going to continue to drop, and we're going to actually build probably the first AI as a service model, right, in the industry. We're looking for $1 million to take our business to the next level. Would love to show you how our algorithms are working in action with live case studies, and hope that you can play a journey with this. And so that in the future, right, just like we subscribe to a web hosting provider, just like we provide connect for an email service provider, Qualetics is going to be that platform that everyone plugs in just to make sure that they're powered by AI. Thank you.
Thanks, Ash. That was excellent.
Okay, so a couple of sound bites, how I'm positioning it. Do you know what I mean? I've painted a very different picture, Sumanth, than what you're doing, right? But it's the same product, like your pitch, right? And we'll send you the recording. Okay, I want you to think about the pieces and how I'm constructing this and kind of how I'm painting the big picture on this. I think what you're working on is way, way more powerful and is so much, it's so relevant right now. Okay, and I wanna, getting that $1 million fundraise. Okay, let's try to zero in on that and kind of focus on getting that done, because this is, somebody's going to build this, right? As I've been talking, somebody's going to build it, somebody's going to succeed, somebody's going to create that protocol that people just kind of plug into, and it's got its it might as well be you, sir, right? That's the way I look at it. All right.
That's all.
So thank you very much for your time, sir, and we look forward to being part of your success. Thank you.
Thank you very much.